The final leg of my Caucasian odyssey begins with a visit to the Uplistsikhe Cave City.
In this location, we found the giant lizard pipe. We have dinosaur paw traces found in there. They had developed a quite smart system, settlement, the gathering points, the water drainage, the wine cellar. They had their currency, they used their clay pots, their jewelry. So we will be starting from the, the lower class area. Lower and mid, they're mixed. It's like the working class area. First we have kurums, the monks over here by the sea, right? But it's quite frequently used by shepherds as well. You have noticed there was a river flowing quite close from here. So mainly this city is famous for producing apples, pears, but they had lots of sheep and cows as well. No, you won't see it. Is during the time of monarchy, this cave complex became the area of military training. So actual soldiers came here for settlement and they were spending the full period of the training over here. As far as you know, it's isolated, so during the shootings, during all of that, it was quite useful. And then we have ruins because this area is kind of famous for earthquakes. And actually in 1920 we had a massive one that used to damage about 36-38% of this cave complex. So right now, guys, so we have 3 cave complexes in Georgia in total. This is the oldest one. Vardzia is the largest one.
It works for the
Want me to move so we can capture?
No, it's fine,
pronounce their own cave complex. It actually translates to Lord's Fortress, and it's actually the oldest known cave complex in Georgia and also one of the earliest known settlements in the region. The earliest sections of the complex were carved as early as the 6th century BC, when pre-Christian pagans carved out temples to their sun goddess. Although humans have been living here as early as the Bronze Age.
Georgians, before adopting Christianity, we had several deities and divines. We had the moon deity, sun divine, it was a female called Nene, and we had the earth deity. It all goes back to the agriculture. For example, we believe that when we go to sleep, moon will take care of our crops and our plants. So we have the ritualistic pits over here, and the carvings and all the dark spots that you notice are from the fire marks. And actually you see from spot to spot there is white dots as well. You see like kind of like calcium whitish, but it's actually a mushroom disease.
Or this marking is original, or?
Yeah, it's quite old. So we consider it might have been the Nana, the sun deity, but for me it's not so pretty, you know, it's ancient art. There is a bedside over here, the fire marks, the holes in the wall for the light, for the candles. These lines that you see on the ceiling, these are the marks of pickaxe. So, the story says that when royals settled this area, they got the slaves to work and carve their way in these caves. Now, what's happening during this time? They actually have a pickaxe with a precious stone in the end. As many times as you use the pickaxe, it's wearing out from time to time. When you reach the spot near the precious stone, the slaves will be actually set free, and as a gift, they will get this precious stone to take home and maybe get something for themselves. So that's how we consider, with one of the theories, as how this was made and carved, but obviously it took not just tens and hundreds, but thousands of years.
$1 million view.
Church, maybe because of that niche?
More or less. Okay, so officially we mentioned that this place was a theater. So, why is this a theater and how do we find this? Actually, this is a backstage for the actors to go and change. These were the images they used to store their weaponry or the items needed for acting, some costumes maybe. We have this circle over here, and by the circle we imagine they used to place the wooden lots where they would hang the clothes to open and close the curtain parts as well. So a main acting stage and the place for the people to sit and watch from. But actually since it's kind of the center of this place, it was a main gathering point as well. Whenever they would need the discussion for the resources, the updates for their materials, that's where they would high class and the working class, right?
Yeah, these holes right here were for putting poles to hold up awnings and roofs. Now, this region we're exploring was, back then, the kingdom of Iberia or Kartli. It was actually a client state or protector of the Roman Empire, and were heavily influenced by them, especially in the post-pagan era. Though the pagan religion here was largely influenced by the Persians, Zoroastrian beliefs soon became infused with local beliefs. Following the chaos of the Persian-Roman wars, the Byzantines became the dominant force in the region. They became allies after facing a common enemy, the Seljuks. And here on the top of the side of one of the pagan temples, they constructed this Christian basilica to sort of show that their culture and religion is more powerful and is now in charge. What sets this cave town apart from others is that it was inhabited not only by monks and royalty, but also average everyday people such as merchants and traders, who fled here after the Arab conquest of Tbilisi in 645 AD, transforming it into an important Silk Road town until the Mongol raids of 1240, after which point it was only occasionally used as temporary shelter during times of foreign invasion. As recently as the 18th century, people fleeing more modern day warfare would temporarily come here to seek shelter because of its strategic design.
We have over here.
Sewage.
What?
Sewage.
Oh no. One of the most uncomfortable jail prison that we have. They wanted to make sure that the person who's in prison was as uncomfortable as possible because you don't have much space, so you cannot really lay down. By the fact that this was where they left their horses. Then all the sediment from the horses used to go there. Sometimes even the inhabitants of this place used to piss in this jail. So it was not just uncomfortable but such a shameful experience that I can personally say that this person would learn a lesson and never do such thing once again.
Yeah, as we heard from our last guide, today's Georgian jails are allegedly much nicer, yet still effective. As I felt very safe here, there's police everywhere, as they recently started cracking down on scammers and organized crime, while also still maintaining a degree of leniency and personal freedom. I thought it would be similar to Cappadocia, but it's a little different. The same geology, yeah.
So, I just want you to observe this sign over here. It says Queen Tamar's Hall. But every Georgian mentions this person as King Tamar. It's the 12th century period, so people's mindset are not that fit to the range that females should lead the country. But actually Georgia had the golden era. That was the period for us when we were the largest, when we had the most peaceful time, because Georgia is under invasions all the time. Persians, Roman Empire, then there is Iranian, Arabian groups, there is Tsarist Russia, there is Soviet Union. So it's range for us since the, let's say, one of the longest peaceful eras that we have. Because she had such a diplomatic skills and the strategic ideas that we became the largest because people gave up their territory. So okay, so why king and not a queen? And why couldn't she marry some guy from the other country for diplomatic reasons, since she was the only child that the king had? So the reason is that Georgia keeps the one pure bloodline on our era of monarchy, which is Bagrat-Ioni. So we could not really interfere with this rule. For that reason, king raised up a daughter as a true warrior, as a true diplomat, so she was trained her full childhood until she became the king. Obviously, she was married twice, but we always mention her as the king, not her husband. So, funnily enough, and the reason why we see this over here, that people appreciated during her era even Tamar so much that we have King Tamar Fortress, King Tamar Hotel, King Tamar Street. And in case she needed a temporary shelter, people used to have such things because she used to travel around quite a lot. Right now, when we enter this place, you will see an example of how the high-class place looks. It will be a ceiling decoration. It will resemble the entrance of a palace. There will be a place to put up a throne. There is a resting room.
I heard Georgia is still a male-dominated society.
Yeah, so as I throne for king to sit on, there is the receiving part for the guests. And since she has never been here, the question is why do we have such many black marks on the ceiling? Because this was one of the conquest places for shepherds. Whenever the invaders would come here, if they would take over this territory, this was the winning point. Because this is the most developed, most highest and most appreciated spot. So you will be finding Arabian, Russian, some of them are modern obviously, but
And its deepest city was home to as many as 20,000 people. Here we're going to see carvings and different languages for all the people that inhabited and passed through this place.
And obviously, earthquake affected this place quite well. So here we have it. It has several reasons, by the way. On my back we have a pagan temple ruins, and they used to sacrifice animals, sometimes humans were there, and they used to make food out of those animals. Over here they have found the clay traces as well. When you would make a fire in this area and put your food on there, sometimes the fire levels rise. If you stand like this and pour your water, you might actually get boiled out of the fire that's choked. And the smart technique they found is if you take your jar of water and pour it from here, it will enter nicely and smoothly from over here. This place was surrounded with the pagan temple. Why do we assume that? Because when the archaeologists explored this area, they found really old bones, sometimes the baby human fingers of the cows and sheep. And they used to put them in the sacrificial pit over here, and sometimes, burn them, sometimes just leave them for the gods and divine to receive the blessing. They constructed the Orthodox Church, which was actually mentioned as the priest church. So there was this one mindset: king should have constructed one church under his name or for a priest.
Yeah, Varzia is the larger and more famous one, but I actually think this one might be better than Varzia. In addition to temples and churches, the complex also contained more practical features, including a pharmacy, prison, theater, wine cellars, defensive walls, and 2 emergency escape routes. The oldest structures at the site date back to the beginning of the first millennium. This actually became one of the most popular and prosperous towns in Georgia due to its location on the Silk Road, which is why so many nations tried to conquer it. Today's Georgians are a mishmash of these different ethnic groups, which is why the Georgian look is quite diverse. Alright, over my shoulder here you can see a traditional Georgian kferi jar. In other parts of Georgia, grape juice will be poured in and buried underground during winter to make wine, and the vessels were used to store and age wine and could remain underground without deteriorating for 50 years. But here they were used for a more superstitious purpose. When the child was born, these jars would be filled with wine and stored until their 16th birthday, at which point they would be presented in church as a thanks to God. It actually wasn't unusual to see pagan traditions mixing with Christian traditions, though you don't see it much in Georgia these days, but in Armenia you still will. Though in both cultures, ancestral spirits still play a role, offering guidance and good fortune. And there are good and bad spirits and ways to appease them and consult them.
We can go? Yeah? Okay, thank you.
Watch for your head, guys.
Oh man, nice habitat. Yeah, I think this is my favorite place I've seen in Georgia.